Question: does this sound realistic to you? I dusted off this old gem over the weekend, and sure, it holds up, but I kept thinking to myself, this fight, and all fights in the Bourne universe, it turns out, is filled with the most potent, punctuated punches imaginable. I mean, I've never been in a fist fight longer than one swing and 2 apologies, but come on. If we're going for a relatively realistic experience here, why are these hitting sounds hitting so hard? And it's not just punches. Guns seem to rattle around like a set of keys. Car tires screech like they're gonna fly off. And here's what a knife sounds like. We accept these exaggerated sounds in films despite knowing they're not realistic. But sometimes reality just isn't enough. Sound effects are a huge part of every film experience, especially bad ones. While some sounds like thunder or a spaceship can be plucked from a digital library, sounds made by people tend to be down to the Foley team, performing the effects in a studio. To show you how seriously I take Foley, I'm gonna make all the sound effects in this video myself. Leslie's a Foley artist and Ryan's a Foley mixer. Together at Alchemy Post Sound, they've worked on a ton of projects like Prey, Pachinko, and The Bear.
I loved working on that.
Right.
Okay, good. To work on.
We destroyed the studio. Every episode, we destroyed the entire studio.
Everything was the
ceiling was covered. Food. Every time I throw it in record, I'm wondering if by the end of the take, if somebody's going to be missing the tip of their finger. But
they're making the craft's namesake, Jack Foley, proud. He pioneered performing sound effects in sync with a picture during the birth of the talkies in the Roaring Twenties. But the term sound effect itself was first uttered in the early days of radio, with BBC's 1931 yearbook author stating, "It is axiomatic that every sound effect must register in the listener's mind instantaneously." Translation: hit your cue and make it count.
Ready? Okay. 5, 6, and...
But often the right sound for the moment isn't the correct sound. Like sounds in the vacuum of space, or an eagle with a hawk's cry, or sharks roaring. Or how about this flying taxi screeching its tires in The Fifth Element? It's a great film. In a fight scene, we hear the contact loud and clear, just as we see the punch land.
Why does it matter that people can hear these sounds, even if maybe in reality they won't have the same kind of punctuation?
We expect to hear them.
Yes.
As simple as that. You know, a gun rattle we were talking about before. If you're a real gun person and your gun made the rattle like you heard on a television, you probably wouldn't want to fire it. But an actor methodically moving through a building, he makes a sudden turn. We're going to want to hear some sort of movement for that gun. You, the viewer, are going to want to hear something, right?
It's a lot like this thing called sonification, where sounds are used to better help us perceive and register something, like a ticking clock or a Geiger counter. Believing a film's reality is important, but consider that the sound team's job isn't necessarily to make it sound realistic, it's to make it come alive for the audience. Ben Burt, the sound designer for all the Indiana Jones films, says he decided on over-the-top punches because he felt they were bringing a comic book to life.
It's a very visceral moment when somebody's being attacked. The bad guy has to hit a lot harder and bigger than the good guy.
we want them to understand how much the punch hurt, how important that moment is to the film. Maybe that changes everything. Maybe it shows how strong character is. Maybe it shows where the deterioration of a friendship happens.
We'll add in all the sound, whoosh if necessary, and to make it more interesting
And sexy.
Yeah, he's got to be sexy, right?
Yeah.
The reality of a film's story is shrouded inside emotion, drama, excitement, the cool factor. From writing to acting to sound, everyone's role is the same.
We're here to tell a story, or to enhance the story being told is really a better way of putting it.
In movies, just like any creative medium, what matters, what's axiomatic, is what the audience notices and feels. The rest is just noise. I will say, a film that did subvert this trope of super exaggerated punch sounds is funnily enough, Fight Club. Looking back at it, they are eerily realistic. It shocks you into watching something that is just brutal, just objectively brutal, and not really shrouded in style. Anyway, go watch it, and also watch more of our videos.